This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. This meeting of October 21st, 2024 was published in the Courier News and Star Ledger and placed on the Borough's website. Notice of this meeting was also placed on the bulletin board at Borough Hall with the complete agenda. A copy of this notice is available to the public, and a copy of this statement shall be included in the minutes of this meeting. Mayor Brian Gallagher.
Here.
Teresa Bonner.
Here.
Glenn Denis.
Here.
Tom Mitchell.
Here.
Randy Pitts.
Here.
Gina Stravic.
Here.
Roger Room.
Here.
Please stand for the salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I have a motion for the approval of the minutes of October 7?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Teresa Bonner.
Abstain.
Glenn Denis.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Room.
Yes.
Okay, departmental reports. There is only one, and I'm sure everybody knows by now that Election Day is November 5th. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. in Somerville. I don't think I need to tell anybody that. It's inundated everywhere. Committee reports. Let's start off with Tom.
Yes, sir. Okay. The Historic Advisory Committee meeting, which had been scheduled for October 17th, was canceled, so I don't have anything to report from there. But October 12th and 13th was a beautiful weekend for Weekend Journey, where many visitors enjoyed the Borough Hall and the Fire Museum. The Borough is looking to hire a basketball gym supervisor and scorekeepers and timers for recreational youth basketball. These are seasonal positions. Click the Jobs button on the Borough webpage for these and other positions. And finally, employees are reminded that open enrollment for medical, dental, and vision plans began today and runs through November 1st. That is all.
Thank you, Tom. Gina.
The Board of Health county statistics abbreviated for you. COVID and respiratory illnesses responses are low. Tick and insect-borne illnesses, again, low. So the community should be pretty healthy. Food recalls, there are several food recalls. If you haven't seen notices publicly, do look them up. Most of them are prepackaged foods. Somerville Rescue Squad provided their three-quarter year report. So for the past 3 quarters, they've responded to 1,009 calls, responded to 155 fire alarms. Volunteers gave over 58 hours of riding time, and they have participated in 30 standby events. The average report time to a call in Somerville is 4.2 minutes. And they continue their training with collectively 294 hours of training to date. That's a report from the Rescue Squad.
Great. Thank you, Gina. Glenn.
So Environmental Commission, we met on October the 8th, and we have just a few things going on. The Green Team will be celebrating the end of the season with a community garden with a party later in October, and then the Girl Scouts will be helping with a cleanup also in November. As far as the committee goes, they've been continuing discussions with the Downtown Somerville Alliance regarding the tree canopy, which we covered a lot in the last meeting, and they are also continuing to review various ordinances. We continue to welcome new members, and you're welcome to come to our next meeting on November the 12th at 7 p.m. right here.
Great.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Teresa.
Thank you. The Municipal Alliance and Youth Services Commission met this month on October 10th. We are happy that we'll be receiving a $6,000 grant from the county for Somerville Middle School Be Good Positive Behavior Support and the Vanderveer Vanderbooks, which is an intervention program. And we had representation from the schools talking about how they're starting the programs up for the year and that they've been going well. We'll also be having a table set up at the Halloween Spooktacular this Friday, October 25th, so stop by for some candy and for information about what the Municipal Alliance and Youth Services does. We help with fighting addiction. And then the Library Board of Trustees meeting will be held this Thursday at 6:30, October 24th at the Somerville Public Library.
Great, thank you. Randy?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to remind all of our residents that curbside leaf pickup starts this Monday, October 28th, and will go through to mid-December. Please note that brush pickup is suspended during leaf season, and for more information, please visit the Borough website. That is all.
All right, thank you. Roger?
A few things from Recreation. The house decor contest is currently ongoing, so you can decorate your home with in an autumn theme or a Halloween theme. By Thursday, October 24th, you have to register online. It's somervillenj.org/contest. The folks will go around on Sunday, the 27th, for the judging. Winners will be announced on Halloween, and there will be a variety of prizes available for that. The Halloween Spooktacular, as was mentioned before, is this Friday, starting at 4 p.m. There will be events taking place at the Courthouse Lawn, Division Street, and throughout downtown. From 4 to 6, there will be trick-or-treating, music, and other spooky entertainment on Division Street and the Courthouse Lawn. And beginning at 6 p.m., there will be the Halloween movie, Beetlejuice. So bring a chair and come on down to Division Street. The Turkey Trot registration is still ongoing. Currently, it's $45 for registration, and that will close on November 10th. Again, the Turkey Trot takes place on Thanksgiving, so if you're around and feel like running before you eat a bunch of turkey and take a nap, come on out. Again, 9 a.m. on Thanksgiving morning. And then the basketball courts have recently been done, renewed, and improved at Michaelette Park. They are open. So that's the park out on Park Ave. So go on down and check those out. And that's all I have.
Awesome. All right, great. Thank you, Roger. Just a couple of things. One, if you recall, we had a young Eagle Scout, potential Eagle Scout in probably about 3 months ago. And what he wanted to do was to rehabilitate the John Shaw Memorial in the parklands between Cliff and Grove Street. And yesterday, they held his Court of Honor, and they actually held it outside. Typically, they're held in the churches or in auditoriums. This one was held outside, so it was a really nice event. The young man, Sean O'Neill, did an awesome job in rehabilitating the memorial. The floodwaters actually had moved the rock a bit, had shifted it around. They discovered that there was some patio pavers underneath the overgrown grass. They put in some beautiful Adirondack chairs, and they put a permanent solar light on the flagpole. So now the flag is lit up 24/7, 365. And it looks phenomenal. Young man did a great job. So kudos to him, kudos to being an Eagle Scout, and it's a great addition to the borough. So, thank you. Also, this Thursday at 4 p.m., the borough will be holding our ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new emergency services facility located on Gaston Avenue. I'm sure everybody has seen it going up over the course of the last couple of years. And the ribbon cutting, the official ribbon cutting is happening Thursday. Targeting move-in still is at the turn of the year, roughly, Colin? That's, yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. But we will also be scheduling at a further date. Everybody's welcome to come to the ribbon cutting, but we will be scheduling guided tours for the building between now and the end of the year. So those residents that would like to get in and have a look at it, they will have that opportunity to do so. We'll put it up on the website. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay. And then last but not least, we did hold Inspection Day, Fire Department Inspection Day, a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, it's a wonderful day to celebrate our all-volunteer services. And at the end of the day, there's a dinner, and it's a really nice dinner. It's a time to allow the firefighters to really kind of settle a little bit, you know, after a hard year's work. Is that a good word, Rich? Settle? We'll take that. Okay, thank you. But what I did want to say was that the fire department, in good, true fashion, gave Tom Mitchell a standing ovation for his 21 years of service to the borough. Tom is retiring at the end of this year from council, and they recognized all of the efforts that Tom put into the borough. And it was just a very nice moment, and I thought it was well worth pointing out.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for bringing that up.
And that's what I have. Before we go into discussion, I want to make one change, slight change to the agenda. On resolutions, we have number 298, which is authorizing execution of the First Amendment to the financial agreement between Avalon, Somerville Station Urban Renewal, and the Borough of Somerville. That actually should have been an ordinance introduction. So rather than us acting and implementing it tonight, we will shift that to introducing it as an ordinance, and then at the next meeting, it will then be voted upon. I just want to make that change so everybody's aware. So at this point, we have on for discussion the borough has two retail cannabis licenses available. One is in the process. It's going through the final approval process down in Trenton, and it's finalizing the planning process with the borough. And that one is targeted for the Sunoco station at the head of Gaston and Route 22. There is another interested party that has come to the Cannabis Committee and made a presentation, and we thought it best for them to come in and make a full presentation to council on their property, their concept, and their proposal for borough's consideration. So I will turn it over to the folks from Kinsava, and come on up and have at it. And if you would, just introduce yourselves and your affiliations.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. I'm Michael Turner. I'm the president managing member of Burton Trent Public Affairs in Trenton, New Jersey. With me tonight, to my left, I have Sharif Jamal, Matt Hagquist, and Sammy Jamal, longtime property owners here in Somerville, and current continue to be property owners here in Somerville. And they're here to present their vision for Kinsava dispensary on 22, and possibly talk to you about their vision and their experience, certainly, and of course their desire to be a positive contributor to the community and the economics therein. So with that, let me turn it over to the boss, who is Mickey Jamal, and he'll talk to you a little bit about their experience, not only in retail, but also highly regulated and type of retail that they have. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's make sure the red light's on.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Mike. My name is Mickey Jamal. I'm the CEO
Oh, it popped off again.
CPD Energy. Testing.
Yeah.
There we go.
My name is Mickey Jamal. I'm the CEO of NJ Energy and CPD Energy from New York. I just want to talk a little bit about Kinsava dispensary and how we do business in general. We'll talk to you about, how long we've been in business since 1981. Convenience store, gas station, highly regulated business. So we are in tri-state area. So we do business in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. We have a large presence in New Jersey. We have about 30 sites in northern Jersey. We operate about 70 stores as company stores direct, our employees, our properties, our facilities. We have been recognized in the industry for how we control and how we run our places. We would love to take some of you to look at our properties and how we manage. We actually been awarded many times by a publication like CSP magazine, and we've been awarded a lot of awards by the oil companies, ExxonMobil, Shell, and BP, and Amoco, other brands. We won the Retail of Excellency award, which is rare for in our industry. We have our own construction company, our own environmental company. Pretty much we run all the operations from A to Z, from buying the property and building the locations. So we're very familiar with renovation or building new sites. We had developed recently about 25 properties. As a matter of fact, I came in from one today, and we do that all in-house construction. I'm going to let Sharif, my son, talk about operation and cannabis experience.
Thank you for having us, Mayor and council members. As my dad was iterating, we have 75 company-operated convenience stores that we run, 8 here in New Jersey. We've been doing this for a long time with over 600 employees. We think that we're going to bring a lot of expertise and in the retail industry to the business. Like cannabis, motor oil, fuel, lottery tobacco, and alcohol are all highly regulated items through the state, so we're used to and experienced in dealing with regulated items. We have an expertise in age verification, loss prevention, inventory control and tracking, and cash management procedures with various different equipment that we use in order to make sure all that is handled properly. For this license, we've engaged with Burton Trenton in New Jersey cannabis laws and regulations to advise us on the direction. Upon the issuance of this license, also we'll be engaged with H2 Talent, which actually brings, it's a headhunting firm that brings cannabis experience to the table. I think from there, we'll talk about our dispensary security. We'll be using a system called VeriScan to make sure that we perform age verification on 100% of the customers. Each ID will be scanned at the door in the entrance. We've engaged with the leading security firm Wynn & Associates to ensure we establish strong and effective security measures in our stores. That includes effective controls and procedures to guard against theft and diversion, prohibit unauthorized access to spaces in the back rooms, protect against electronic record tampering. We will also have a state-of-the-art security system that will notify our whole entire team of management as well as the local authorities if anything were to go wrong or if the space was ever broken into. And we'll have a state-of-the-art video surveillance system that will be active 24/7. So we think we're going to be
It's automatic safe, so the cash exposure is minimal. You know, this is a pretty cash-intensive business, and we use, they're called auto safes. You slide the money in, and that's it. They're locked away permanently, and then those are picked up by a armored car service, so there's minimal cash exposure subject to theft. I want to introduce or describe the cannabis Kennesawa leadership team. You've met Sharif and Mickey already. Sharif has extensive experience in retail. He's been doing this since he was probably 5 years old. Literally, he's been in this industry his whole life. And most notably, he has already been awarded a cannabis license in New York. So admittedly under a different set of regulations, but he's involved in a cannabis operation in New York at this time. So has a very large depth of knowledge in that. Mickey mentioned, you know, he started this business 40 years ago with a mobile station in New York. So he has extensive experience. His brother, Sam, also is in this business. He's the COO. He basically establishes all the operational policies and procedures that the chain of gas stations operate under, and those would translate into the cannabis operation. I'm the CFO. I have over 20 years' experience, actually over 25. I just don't like to put that in writing and admit how old I'm getting, but I have a lot of experience in various industries, retail and manufacturing, across a broad spectrum. A very important member of our team is Scott Parker, our Director of Facilities. He has over 20 years of experience in site development and construction, and he's the one who has led the 25-plus store renovations that Mickey mentioned earlier. Regarding the actual site here in Somerville, and the timing of development of that property, we have full control of the site. We have a tenant there. We don't operate that as a Chestnut Market right now.
Can you just address where the site is? Because nobody knows where your site is at this point.
Oh, it's an sorry, yeah, it's a good point. It's an Exxon station at 960 Route 22. So it's right on Route 22 in Somerville. It's an Exxon, I believe, right?
Yes,
Currently an
it's an
Exxon,
Exxon.
yeah. We don't operate as a Chestnut, but we control the site. We can take possession of the property with 30 days' notice. As I mentioned with Scott, we do all of our own internal construction, so we're not beholden to the timelines of a GC or a construction company. We're basically beholden to our own timelines and our own prioritization. Also importantly, given that this is a gas station, we have an internal environmental and underground storage tank team who does all of our work, remediation work and all the tank removals and dispenser removals. So again, we're not beholden to an outside contractor to begin the rehabilitation of the property. A few properties that we've recently developed that I just want to show some of our capabilities. So I've got a couple pictures here. This is the Hutchinson River Parkway, which in New York in White Plains. This is in the middle of the parkway. We leased this property from the New York DOT. We recently were awarded the lease, to renew the lease. We had been there previously and we were awarded a 30-year lease under a new RFP. Part of that was to redevelop the site. And this is a picture of that, which was featured in CSP Magazine, which is one of the trade publications, highlighting that redevelopment of that site. One of the things we did there was increase the square footage of that property by over 40%. And one of the key requirements, it was a historical building, and we were required to keep that in the same look of the old building, and the work that our internal team did, it's seamless. If you were there, I think you would be hard pressed to find the new parts versus the old parts due to the high quality of work that we do. Newark, New Jersey. This is a before and after of a property on Newark, New Jersey on Lincoln and Broadway. So that's some of the rehabilitation work that we do ourselves. The next one is Patterson, New York. New Jersey. We have one in Patterson, New York as well. Patterson, New Jersey, same thing. We did all that work ourselves. Marlborough, New York. This was a raise and rebuild of an existing building. The photo of the current is the current mobile station, the Chestnut Market, is featured in one of the trade publications. We were in a cover feature of that store and the work we did there. Which brings us to the Kennesawa design of what we have in mind for this venture, for the dispensary. It says cannabis. That was an oversight by our design consultant, as we can't have the word cannabis in the name, so that will be rectified in the final build, of course. But this is the type of work that we can do. I should give Sharif credit for this design. Yeah, he came up with this design concept, so I don't want to take his thunder. Another rendering from a side view. Go ahead, Sharif.
So Kennesawa is a mountain in Utah in Zion National Park. And the thought process was to make the triangle kind of replicate a mountain feel and the background of the building to more represent the sky to give you that Utah feel. So that's why we went with the sandstone and the metal siding there.
And then the final slide is just a rendering of the store layout, highlighting the security areas, the waiting area and foyer, to do the security checks before a customer is allowed to enter the retail space. And then also to highlight the restricted areas through the door into that hallway off the retail space where nobody from the public is allowed. And then also the secure delivery and storage areas.
I just want to mention that just want to mention that we self-finance. We don't need to go to the bank to get financing for the, the rebuild, the remodeling, or any of the work.
Okay. Questions?
Yeah. Excuse me. You mentioned having 30 sites in the tri-state area. How many of those are cannabis dispensaries, and how many of the cannabis dispensaries are in New Jersey?
We actually we have 75 C-stores, so it's gasoline and C-store retail. None of them are actually cannabis yet. We only have the one cannabis retail site in New York that'll be opening hopefully within the next month.
Okay, so this will be your second cannabis site?
This will be the second cannabis venture, and we're hoping to, first in New Jersey, and hoping for more from there.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so you're gonna work with a third-party vendor to help you set up the business? They're not gonna operate it? This is gonna be owned and operated by your group?
This will be owned and operated by us, but we do always hire consulting firms within the cannabis industry to help set up and follow the regulations based on the state.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Yeah, you said you were going to be taking the word cannabis off the building.
Correct.
What will be the full sign? Will it just be the
It'll
name
be
Kennesawa, or will it be Kennesawa Dispensary? or-
Kennesawa Dispensary.
Okay.
Yeah, that was just a typo.
And my question is, how far down 22 is this from the other dispensary that has already been approved?
So this is at the head of North Bridge Street and 22,
Okay,
and
The other one's at the end of
Sunoco's
Gaston.
is at the end of Gaston,
so, okay,
half a mile.
pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. Other questions? So, just a couple of things. Speaking to the experience standpoint, obviously it's a new venture for what you do, and I understand you have experience in those types of issues with age and alcohol and other types. Without having that cannabis space experience, you said you're going to hire consultants. Now, is it a consultant to help you open and then they go away? Is it a consultant that will help you operate? Is it somebody that you're going to partner with? What is that? Can you talk a little bit to that?
So we'll take a two-step approach to it. We'll hire a consultant that'll help us get through the regulations and as far as setting up the store. But then we'll also be working with the company H2 Talent, which gives us opportunities to hire people within the cannabis industry that already have experience. And we'll most likely hire a general manager to help operate the store that has multiple years or, a good amount of experience in the cannabis industry, which is the same approach we're taking with New York State as well.
Yeah, I've been in one store. I wasn't buying. I was in one store because I was curious to see what the operation was like. And it is a very tech process. At least the one I was in is a very tech-oriented process. I mean, do you see that? With kiosk stations and ordering systems and
The typical dispensary is a kiosk-based ordering system in place where you go to a kiosk or work with a bud tender to go over what products are available and ask whatever questions you have on those products, and then select those products, and then they would be transferred over to the POS system and picked from the vault to be distributed to the customer. So yes, it's definitely tech-based operations. It seems to be the way the industry is going, so we'd follow that suit.
so one of my biggest concern is that you're a half a block from Somerville High School. You've got a whole bunch of teens there who are not of legal age to purchase. And how do you, can you talk to that? Because that's a very big concern that I have.
So because the site will have no actual windows that you could visibly see into the space, and because it's a kind of simpler building design, and access will only be allowed, given to people that are 21 or older. We have, if you look at the floor plan, you could see on there, when you enter into the space, there's a security window right next door, and someone will be checking IDs and scanning them to verify that they're legal state or US IDs that are allowed to be used to purchase cannabis and enter a cannabis dispensary. So we'll constantly have security at the door to prevent any underage people from entering the space.
And we operate under that premise now with alcohol and lottery and tobacco in New York. We don't sell alcohol in New Jersey, obviously, but in New York, all of our C-stores sell beer, and we have 100% age verification, regardless of what age somebody looks like. They have to. So it's something we're familiar with operating.
Yeah, I have to
under
show my
already.
ID to go in.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I don't think I look under 21 anymore.
Correct, yeah. We would operate under the same premise that we do
Yeah.
In the C-store space.
So you don't see an issue, you from a security standpoint, or from, because kids are pretty ingenious.
No, it would be 100% of the time ID everyone, whether you come every single day or if it's your first time visiting. Every customer that comes in would be ID'd, and then that would be scanned on that ID system that we have actually scans and confirms that it's a legal ID and can actually pick out fakes, and I believe it's called VeriScan. Yeah. And that system is in use now in multiple dispensaries in multiple states, so we have faith that that's going to work really well.
And you'd obviously comply with all the state laws and regulations and policies and procedures and.
Absolutely.
I have a couple more questions.
Yeah,
if That's
go
all right. Going off of what the mayor asked, would you be having security cameras in the parking lot? Say teenagers came up, they found an adult who would go in and buy it for them. But would you have security cameras in the parking lot so that you could see something like that happening?
Absolutely.
To prevent that?
Yeah.
It's an extensive security camera system where you'll have cameras covering all angles of the existing building outside as well as the parking lot to make sure that there's never any incidents.
Okay. My second question is actually somewhat of a statement. The last time we were here hearing from the other company who's opening up the dispensary, one thing I liked about their presentation was that they talked about community and that they would like to help to try to educate the community about opioid addiction and how cannabis can help to prevent that from becoming an issue, because you can use cannabis medicinally for pain and things like that. So hopefully not using opioids for pain management as much and not becoming addicted to it. Is that anything that you would consider doing, working with the community for education with young people or things like that?
Yeah, community engagement is part of the whole process. I just, in order to keep this as brief as possible and concise, I didn't include all that, but yes, that's part of the whole program is the community engagement and that education process. And we have a policy out there that articulates that as well.
Thank you.
So this is really just a broad concept approach for the council.
What is your timeline?
Whenever it's the approval, we'd be able to hit the ground pretty much immediately.
You already own the building?
Yeah, we own the building, yeah, yes. We would, from the time we say that we were to get the approval and get this in process, which obviously we have to go through the state approval process, but once we get everything lined up, we'd have to give our current tenant 30 days notice.
I would imagine the regulatory process in New Jersey is the longest part of this process.
Yeah, it's not overnight, yeah.
9 months, 12 months?
Sorry, it's actually gotten quite shorter.
Has it?
It has, because initially it was all the applicants that came in at once. There's thousands.
Yeah.
And they went through it, and it took some people, you know, over a year. Now I've seen them get approved within 90 days.
Okay. Okay.
But
It's New Jersey, that's shocking.
tell me about it. I do it for a living. Yeah, damn.
Will you be
Slow things
selling edible or just smokables? Will you be selling it as joints or just raw?
So it'll be a mix of all of the legal products that are allowed within the New Jersey state laws.
Okay. Any other
And being
questions?
down the street doesn't deter you from competition from the other?
No, I think we're on a good corner, and I think that there's a high enough demand that it'll be supported well.
Well, on the eastbound side of the highway where you are, it'll get to you first.
Yeah, we have that advantage.
Any other questions?
Yeah, can you just talk a little bit about the rehabbing the site as far as gas station going to dispensary and the environmental steps you're gonna take for that as well, and what that timeline could look like?
Yeah, I could speak to that. We actually, like I said before, we renovated.
No, the plug.
Yeah, we did renovate in the past few years, 25 sites. So part of it, we pay attention to what's the requirement from DEP or DEC, which is removal of the tank, cleaning the ground, making sure everything is clean. There's no issues. If anything need to be remediated, we do it immediately in the spot. We own our own company that does the tank removal, tank installation, and we have our own environmental engineers in-house. We've been doing this for the past 20-some-odd years. And like I said, we've been in the business for 40 years, so we did a lot of locations in Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. And we're in good terms with all the government regulations as far as that's concerned.
That's the easy part.
Thank you.
We do that every day.
Any other questions? I want to thank you for your interest. Any last statements?
Just one last thing, I just want to clarify something. Kennesaw is in Zion National Park in Utah. Part of our theme was like wellness and outdoors and health. And if Sam was here, he'd talk to you all about his hiking excursions. But if there is something that is town related as far as like opioid addiction, we're happy to talk to you about that and moving forward. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm on the liaison to the Municipal Alliance and Youth Services Commission, and that's what our focus is fighting addiction in all ages. So that's why I have an interest in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We, in all our locations, by the way, we're very involved with kids. We're very involved with schools, with little leagues. And we have a big fundraiser that we do for St. Jude Children's Hospital, which is, we already exceeded over $1 million. And we do a lot of stuff every year. We give grants in every school that's in our neighborhood or where we do business.
It's very nice.
So that's part of our company policy.
Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate the information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin, next up is best practices.
Great, thank you very much. Just squeeze that in there, sorry. So every year, this has obviously been about 10 years now, the state of New Jersey, through the Department of Community Affairs, provides the municipality a questionnaire. This year, it had 69 questions on it. Paige and I submitted it. We obviously, the entire municipality is involved some way for what they do. The inventory, the best practice inventory had 69 questions on it. They really have three major categories, being core competency, the best practices, and then they have unscored questions as well. The 41 being the core competency and 11 being the best practice, which are the scored ones. So when they're scored, the purpose of it is to identify how well the municipality is performing basically the things that are required by law or required by good practice. And some of it, the DCA also takes the opportunity to kind of survey municipalities as to what they may be doing as well. And that's why you have the 17 unscored areas. We did very well. We generally do well. We obviously, translating from the audit, most of our financial practices, I should say all of our financial practices, certainly conform with the law. And every municipality is a little different how they do things. The areas that we had noticed this year that they had put on are areas that we're diving into today is affordable housing. So there's a good dozen questions on about affordable housing, particularly if you have an affordable housing trust and how you're managing that money. We don't have an affordable housing trust. We haven't had the need to do that. We will. You'll see that being added into our budget, and it'll be a trust fund that specifically be used for professional services and or for construction or related other matters to affordable housing units. So that's one of the areas that we were not able to really wrap our hands around and answer those. But again, most of those were unscored anyway. The other area we just talked about was cannabis taxation. So, other than the fact that cannabis is allowed by zoning, there is a major financial piece of that where the municipality receives funds on the sale of cannabis. So we haven't had that opportunity yet. A lot of municipalities have. Obviously, the one isn't open up yet, and this is the second one for consideration. So the questions related to that really go, we're not able to answer that as well. There are some further broken down subcategories, which are budget, capital, cybersecurity, environment, ethics, lead remediation, personnel management, procurement, all those types of things we do extremely well on. So at the end of the day, you needed a score of, I believe, 35 to receive 100% of whatever whatever aid the municipality gets through the state of New Jersey. So we do get aid. It's not, it's not like distressed aid. It's aid that's provided back to us in the form of taxation. Our score was 43, which is much on the higher end of the scale. There are some things that we answered prospective, meaning that, it did make sense to do it, and we'd like to look at that opportunity to do it as well. In those categories, we had to look at the way we hire insurance. So last year we did switch to health insurance GIF, which was new to us. We've always been in state health benefits. The state health benefits, unfortunately, 2 years in a row, they had a 22% increase, and I think this year was 14, 15, 18. It was up there. We're not in that anymore. But we did use a broker to assist us in that process. So as we move forward, they want to make sure that the broker's contracts are not based on moving into plans that are going to provide the broker a better financial benefit, right? So it's more of a fixed type of cost. Now, I will tell you, brokers generally don't get hired that way. So it'll be a little of an effort for us to do that as we transition and look at other plans in the future. Some of the minor things was posting in our general ledger of how we do that, and that was kind of the gist of it. It's been submitted on behalf of the borough already. We'll provide a copy of it on our website so folks can look at that themselves. But it is, for the most part, for the majority of all the questions, there are things that we've been doing for a very long time. Our hiring practices are very good. We post, we advertise, we have a diverse workforce. Ethics, we do training every year. So that is something that we do as part of our policy manual. The capital budget and the budget conforms with all the requirements that's ever upon us with the DCA. The capital budget we do spend a lot of time on. The area is cybersecurity. We have a company, KRS, it's an outside company that handles our security. That's one thing we'll be redacting when we put on on the system. It's a very big issue. Cybersecurity, while we're insured for it, the deductible is tremendous. So, Amy, the mayor and I, we've talked about board members having email addresses that they can receive emails directly, and that's fine, but there's a training component that's going to be required for our cybersecurity. And then and lead remediation is a couple years ago, the state of New Jersey requires us to maintain the process, a registry on lead. So what happens is if you have homes that are older and they're rental homes, there's a process that we have to maintain. For the majority of it, it's outsourced. So we have a company that does their lead remediations and offers that at a lower rate than we can offer it. So most landlords, if they do have to go through a lead remediation program, they're doing it at a lower cost than to come through us. But we do offer that as well, because it's required. And I think I've covered just about every area oh, shared services. So shared services we do very well in. We share our CFO, we share our property maintenance person, we share our fire prevention officer, just on personnel. We do have some shared services as well. So just in general, we do share with the county, we do share equipment. So we are pretty active in that area.
Board of Ed.
I'm sorry?
Board of
The
Ed.
Board of Ed,
Yeah.
we provide salting services for. So we do a very good job in that area. It's an area where the municipal managers in Somerset County has spent a lot of time looking at it. It's still going to be continued an area that we look at. We have some small municipalities, including ourselves. While you may not know it on a day-to-day basis because of how busy it is, but the geography between Manville and the Borough of Somerville and Raritan, we're relatively small. So it always does lend itself to some opportunities. I know the council's been very favorable to that, so we'll continue to present those to you over the next couple of years, and that's included in the best practices as well.
So we're on the thumbs up side of the best practices. Nothing we need to do at this point?
There's nothing that you need to do.
Okay. And you'll post that up and then share that with the council as
Yep,
well?
that's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, before I go to the meeting open to the public, I will ask for, I'm going to talk about the ordinance that we're shifting from the resolution into the ordinance. So this is ordinance number 2748-24-1021 for introduction only. It's an ordinance of the Borough of Somerville, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, authorizing the mayor to execute the First Amendment to the financial agreement by and between Avalon Somerville Station Urban Renewal LLC and the Borough of Somerville pursuant to NJSA as noted for the property located on Block 123, Lot 2.04 and 5.01, as shown on the official tax map of the Borough of Somerville, located in the landfill redevelopment area. Colin, can you give us just a very brief overview of what this is?
Yes, ma'am.
To the speaker, to the,
Up here.
yeah,
Sorry.
just so everybody can hear.
I thought I spoke loud. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This is the third part of the development that this room is in. Right, Avalon Bay built the 2 apartment buildings, Pulte built the townhouses that way. This is going to be the final apartment building built by Avalon Bay. It was anticipated in their original planning board approval. It is anticipated and referred to in the redevelopers agreement, but the redevelopers agreement also stipulates that certain elements of what they call phase 1 must be transferred or carried over to this new development, that being the financial agreement, or that part of it which refers to the apartments. The redevelopers agreement itself has to be amended to refer to this particular phase. And also they've tightened up on the subdivision and the block and lot numbers, which were part of the subdivision as they built the project. So I hate to use the word, but it's more housekeeping than it is new business.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the certificate of occupancy.
Hang on, we're not at that point yet.
Okay.
So at this point, what I will do is open up for public comment. Again, on introduction, I do not have to open up for public comment, but I do that as a matter of course because I think for the sake of transparency, it's always good to do. So public comment on the introduction of ordinance number 2748 is now open. Hearing none, I'll close, and I'll ask for a motion for introduction.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, couple of questions. You've got basically three changes that are being made. The block and lots. On the block and lots, is the physical location being changed at all, or was this simply an error in defining the block and lots when it was originally laid out?
It wasn't an error, Councilman. It was when they subdivided the previous owner's properties, New Jersey Transit, new blocks and lots were created. And this just memorializes those two, which are now to be built on.
So this is exactly where it was originally planned for.
Exactly.
And the financial arrangement this is exactly.
There is no change. It's just adding this phase to the financial agreement, which means the financial agreement needs to be amended.
Okay, but this is still within the definition of the original financial agreement.
Yes, sir.
So there's no financial change or physical change involved in this
Not in this
amendment.
ordinance, no.
So how will it be amended financially?
It won't be. It's adding to the financial agreement the new building. That's essentially what the change is.
So the rates and dollars, everything else is the
Everything
same?
else, no.
Yeah, what the council previously approved is now just being memorialized as this phase now takes over.
And their certificate of occupancies for the existing buildings are in place?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Roll call.
Yes.
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 Okay, at this point, I will ask for a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
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 Public portion is now open. Please state your name and address for the record, and please address your comments to me. Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to close the public session.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Randy Pitts,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Okay, consent resolutions. We already deleted number 298. Are there any that folks would like to have pulled off for further discussion?
305, please.
Okay. All right. 297, canceling uncollectible taxes. Homeowner Lawrence Madama, known address is 58 Somerset Street. 299, approving person-to-person and place-to-place transfer of a alcohol beverage license by Verdicchio Corp. to Defina Restaurant Corp. 300, approving Somerville Fire Department application for Alex Nagaba. 301 is approving Spartan Spirit 5K on Saturday, June 21, 2025. 302 is awarding a national contract through NPP Gov to Bauer Compressors under NPP Gov contract number as noted in the amount of $87,197.94. 303 is accepting a grant of $6,000 and approving Chapter 159 for County of Somerset, Department of Human Services for Somerville Youth Services Commission for 24-25 annual grant for Girls on the Run. Also, SMS Be Good Positive Behavior, Support Raffles, and Vanderbucks Intervention Program. 304 is authorizing a refund of $212.50 to Sandra King for construction permit as noted. 306 is authorizing negotiations of easements for Safe Routes to Schools project on Veterans Memorial East. 307 is authorizing change order number 1 and 2 for contract with PaveRight for basketball court improvements at Lep Park and closing out the project. 308 is appointing Kevin Sluka as acting board secretary to the Planning Board and Zoning Board, retroactive to September 27, 24. 309 is authorizing a sidewalk easement between 25 West High Somerville LLC and Borough of Somerville at 25 West High Street. 310 is accepting the resignation of Joshua Bonadus effective October 21, 2024, and authorizing final payment for 31 and a half hours of vacation time accumulated at an hourly rate of $20.19 for a total amount of $635. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Randy Pitts,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, 305 is authorizing the Borough Council of the Borough of Somerville acting as the housing agent to administer the Section 8 Housing Assistance Payments Program and adopting the 5-year agency plan. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, what is the 5-year plan? Can we get a summary of what this 5-year plan is we're authorizing?
Sure, so let me first.
Wait, I'm gonna summarize. So for 20 years, you've done it 4 times.
Yeah,
So, Kevin?
Yeah, so I apologize that you should have that plan. But the plan itself is it's about a 10-page document that basically, whatever HUD changes in the 5-year plan that's required by Section 8, that's the only revisions that take place every 5 years. The plan has to be 5 years because HUD requires it. The Borough of Somerville hires Mullen and Lonergan as part of our contractor. And what they do is in addition to the operation of the Section 8 program and the payment voucher program, which is the same, is they also monitor the HUD regulations and the HUD requirements. So technically, they can't operate outside of the HUD requirements. So when you're adopting a plan that meets all the HUD requirements, you wouldn't be adopting one that wouldn't meet, right? It basically becomes a plan, so if there's any appeals or there's anything that someone could say it's not in accordance with the HUD requirements in the plan are identical, so for them to administer. So what happens is it almost becomes housekeeping, but it is required by law. The way I can explain it is similar to the parking utility, like the governing body handles the parking utility really as a financial mechanical arm of the borough. It's not really, a utility of people and effort. It's the same thing with the HUD plan is they have to adopt it every 5 years. I mean, certainly I can provide that to you if you're more comfortable to vote on that. But it is exactly what the HUD requires and meets all their regulations.
So we're adopting it to ensure that Mullen and Lonergan comply with the Section 8 federal housing rules as it relates to Section 8. And
That's
so
correct.
that we operate in the fashion that the
that's
government
correct.
wants us to.
And the plan doesn't talk in layman's term about how they operate Section 8. That's not what it's about. It's about the adoption and the compliance with the federal requirements, so of the rules and the federal laws.
how
So
much is this costing the borough?
it doesn't cost the borough as far as finance.
Yes,
It doesn't cost the borough anything. So because we already hire Mullen and Lonergan to administer the plan and the operations, and that's all paid by HUD.
so
Right?
it's
So
all
the governing body is really the administrator of Section 8. But we hire someone else who gets paid through HUD to run the program for us.
Oh, okay, so it's not costing the taxpayers of Somerville anything, and it is providing the benefit of Section 8 housing. So,
Yes, it doesn't cost any local taxpayer money.
Local taxpayer,
Yeah.
that's important. It is federal tax.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
yes, or federal deficit.
Thank you,
More
Tom.
like.
Very good. All right,
Oh.
any other questions? Roll call, please.
Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes,
Randy Pitts,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, Roger, bills and vouchers.
I make a motion to pay bills and vouchers in the amount of $1,408,624.85.
I'll second that, but I have a comment.
Discussion?
Yes, I just want to point out that of that number, that 1.4 million, 498,000 is a payment to the sewer utility, which is coming from New Jersey American Water's escrow account. So it's actually a little less than $1 million of Somerville money being spent here.
Okay.
Yeah, just some clarity on that, and Tom's right, is the agreement requires New Jersey American Water to provide us the money, and we provide it to the Raritan Valley Sewer Authority. That's the way it works, because we're a member of the sewer authority. They're not.
Thank you. Roll call.
Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes,
Randy Pitts,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
move for adjournment.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned.